All right. Good day, guys. It's your mate Aries Tao from Sydney, Australia. During the lockdown times, so today I'm very happy to get my friends actually Ashley Karakatsanis to help me out.
Say that again.
Okay. Today I'm very happy to Ashley Karakatsanis.
Well done. Well done.
To help me out. Do you want to introduce about yourself?
It's a hard one, isn't it?
Yeah, awkward. Yeah, I was trying to make it easy on myself.
Well,
sorry.
If it's any consideration, when I was in school, I used to get called Ashley Carrots and Bananas. So call me that if you want, Ashley Carrots and Bananas. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. Like, this has made my week. Being in lockdown, I've been so bored. And when you messaged me to do this, I was like, woohoo, now I've got something to do for the week. I've got some purpose. I can do something because obviously us being in lockdown right now, we're not shooting. So it's good to be able to get out there and help other people and give out some tips.
That's much appreciated.
Yeah, for sure. And we're doing it at 10 p.m. at night. And why are we doing it at 10 p.m. at night, Aries?
Yeah, like I have 2 kids. You have 4 kids.
Four kids.
Yeah, that's why you are my idol. Like, speaking of the kids, like you have 4 kids and you achieve so much in your life. I mean, you shoot between 50 to 60 weddings a year, right?
Yeah.
And you also win, you are the new WPPI Gold Awards and the first place winner. And you are the Panasonic ambassador, actually do lots of photo work and workshops for them. You achieve so much in your life, man. Like, I'm your biggest fan. I have to say this.
I'm your fan.
I don't know. Like, I have 2, and I'm actually already being desperate.
Yeah.
In my house, and So and also when I look at your images, it's a fine mix, right, between natural lights and the flash. While everybody else is doing one style, you're actually doing different style. Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, I think for me, it's really important to have that variety because that's what's going to make you stand out. Like, a lot of clients want both. Like, they want that natural, candid stuff, but they also want to have a couple of beautiful, nice art pieces for the wall. So that's important to me. It's funny though, like when I post, my, candid, natural sort of work on my Instagram, then I might get a comment from a bride saying, "Oh, are you not doing your like artistic work anymore? Like, I haven't seen you post that in a while." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm still doing it." And it's vice versa. So like the brides really love that mix of, the candid and also the really nice, beautiful posed art sort of shots as well. So it's really important for me to be able to provide both to them, so that I shouldn't say bride, I should say couples, because there is a groom.
But they don't matter. Like, I don't matter in my house. So
it's always all about the bride. But yeah, it's important to me to do that because at the end of the day, when you're, providing your clients with like a full gallery, you want it to look different. You don't want to have the same sort of style like throughout. It looks boring, I think. I think it's nice to have a bit of a mix. Like, I love shooting all the natural stuff as well and the candid stuff. But for me, that's easy. I can do that with my eyes shut. Like, I don't mean to be cocky, but it's very... What actually gets me inspired and makes me happy is creating something, even with flashes or even without flashes. Being able to create something is really important to me. And
awesome.
That's why I love doing a big mixture of work.
Talking about your gears, let me just share the screen and let's talk about what's in your camera bag, shall we?
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. Can you see that now?
Yeah, I can see it.
Awesome. Do you want to... Yeah.
What have we got here? We've got a lot of Godox and a lot of Panasonic.
Yep.
So I think maybe just over just over a year ago, I started doing some work with Panasonic, and I switched over to their cameras, and I have not looked back. I love their cameras. I'm obsessed, and I've only just now got my hands on some new lenses. So I was shooting primarily with the 24-105 and the 50mm lens for 1 year, and they were the only 2 lenses I had, and I made it work. It was really good because I was like, just rocking one body and another body and the two lenses, and I didn't have so much gear.
Okay.
But then after a while, I realized that I really miss shooting wide angles, like a 16 to 35 mil. And then I was also finding the 24 to 105 was an f4, great lens, beautiful, but I really wanted a 2.8. So Panasonic sent me the 16 to 35 and the 24 to 70 2.8. And I just got my hands on them literally probably maybe 2 weeks before we went into lockdown. So I was just sort of getting to play with them, and I was like,
awesome.
When we went into lockdown, I was like, damn it. Like, so I've been playing around heaps with the 16 to 35 mil, amazing lens.
Yeah.
Love my wide angles. I also have my 2 V1 flashes, which I love. Love the V1 flashes. I'm mainly using them in reception. So when I'm doing my dance floor party shots, I'll put on the 16 to 35 mil and the V1, and it's just awesome. Like it's a great flash. It's really soft. It goes off every time. It's really reliable. And then with the AD200 Pro, I use that for all my sort of my night shots and any shots that I want to do outside, off camera sort of work. And then I've also got my X Pro triggers, which are amazing as well. They're really easy to use, and everything that I'm using with Godox right now is just so easy to use, and it's great. So loving all my gear, and that's probably and then down the bottom I've got my my Godox modifying kit. Is that the right word? Modifying kit?
AKR one.
Yeah, the AKR one. So it's got so mainly what I'm using in the Godox modifying kit is the grid. That's my favorite little tool, and then also the color gels, which is great.
Awesome. All right, let's should we look into the photos?
Yeah, go for it.
Let's look at the first image.
Yeah.
Tell us about it. Is there a story, and where?
There's absolutely no story involved in this. This is just your typical walk, have a kiss with the beautiful flowers in the background. This is something that we took just when the beautiful, soft, natural light. So on that day, we did a first look, and so we did all the photographs before the ceremony, and it was raining. So we had that beautiful, soft, natural light. There was no need for me to pull out any flashes. It was just beautiful, soft, consistent light. And, you know, it's easy to work with that. You can do all your walking poses. You can do everything that you need to do without having to worry about lighting. So, yeah.
And I this is, I guess that's the first look as well, right?
No, this is actually after the ceremony, the first kiss. So you may kiss your bride. This is there. So this is the sort of lighting that I had to work with during the ceremony. Beautiful, consistent lighting.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful, right? It's beautiful, subtle. And also because people are having those sentimental moments, you don't really want to flash right in their face, and, you know. And also they're kissing like, half a second? And you don't want you don't have time to set up lights.
No way.
I agree. If I were you, I'll probably do the same.
Yeah.
But let's also look at this next image, shall we?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
So the same location.
Yep.
And this was like the last shot of the night. And with this shot, I was like, okay, guys, jump outside. We do a quick photo together. Just obviously above, you can see we've got the festoon lighting. And whenever I'm doing a sort of night photograph, I'm always looking for some ambient lighting around, something that's going to look like the flash is coming from above. Like, otherwise it really doesn't make sense. If you're lighting a couple and there's no light around, it's just obvious that it's the flash. Whereas in this situation, it looks like the festoon lighting is lighting it up. It gives it that really beautiful romantic feel about it. Yeah. And that's what I always look for when I'm doing a night photograph, is just some sort of ambient light coming. And festoon lights work just perfect for this situation.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed it. I actually quite enjoyed the lights, because lots of people were doing this kind of backflash shots as silhouettes. You actually have their dress, the bride's dress actually has all the details. It's there, right? Yeah. This actually brings in. Actually, you probably could answer the question from Mai. That's our Mai Banu Shath,
Yeah.
Shath. If you're watching this is your question. How many flashes do you bring on a wedding day? Like,
yeah,
maybe more specific. We know that you have two V1 and one 8200 for your wedding day, right? Because we look at into the gear, and it's the question's already being answered. I'm more interested. How many flashes do you use for this particular image?
just literally the 8200 Pro, and the setup time is like 2 seconds. It's on. It's on a light stand, so I've already got my light stand. I don't shoot with assistants.
So there's no assistant.
No
right?
assistant. Yeah, I never have assistants when I do weddings. Since I got into weddings 10 years ago, I just never have had a second shooter or an assistant. I may have an assistant every now and then that wants to come out and learn, but very rarely do I. I like sort of, it seems weird, but I like doing my own thing. I like being on my own, and especially when there's a videographer as well on the day. So I just feel like if you have two photographers, two videographers, like it sort of ruins the vibe a little bit, especially when you're doing portraits. So I've always taught myself to shoot on my own, and I don't ever have assistants. So what I do is I have my light stand, I quickly chuck it behind them, and then I come back. I'll set my flash up, and I'm pretty certain this would have been at full power. And then, I've come back. I'm certain this was taken with a 24-105 at the time, f4.
Yep.
And I would have probably had my ISO at about 3,000 and above, something like that. I can't remember.
So how do you actually, if I may break in, so there is actually a question from L White, right? Yeah. One of our users from our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
He's let me switch back to the image. He's asking. He's like, would like to know how you can quickly set up the lights and power. Like, is that on TTL or is that on menu?
Manual, yeah.
It's a menu.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you determine your power?
I think after a while, when you do this shot so much, you automatically know what you need when you're looking at your surroundings. Yep. So I probably would have had this already had it on full power. So I probably didn't need to change it. All I needed to change was my camera settings, if anything.
Okay.
But yeah.
That's good. So basically you're saying that you set the flash on the full power and you just play around with your camera settings.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Deal with one thing at one time. That's great.
Yeah. That's
awesome.
right. I already know that this type of shot needs a lot of flash power because it's coming from
experience,
behind.
Right? It actually grows with you.
That's right. And it's coming from behind. It's not coming from the front. So you really want a lot of power coming through. And another thing I do too in post-production is this image is being edited. So in post-production, when I pull it into Photoshop, it's quite dark. So I'm always lifting up the exposure in Adobe Camera Raw. And like you can see in the image, it's probably hard to see on the computer screen, but there's not much noise in there. Like it's very good quality. So I was able to really play around with, boosting the exposure, pulling out the shadows a bit more, just to kind of give it that more, so you can see more detail in the image. And so
good.
Yeah.
Actually, we actually have a question from the Facebook page from Fan Wedding. Her question is, photographer not having assistant, that's being answered.
Yeah.
And then how to deal with flash and get the results they wish. So set up the flash on full power in this particular context.
Yeah.
And then change your camera settings.
Yeah.
And that's being answered too. Then how can I structure myself during a wedding to have less stress?
Yeah.
Any favorite setting you are often used? Let's talk about this image.
So in terms of less stress, like these type of shots should never be stressful, because it's sort of like at the time where you're not dealing with any time constraints. So you're not dealing with the venue saying, quickly, you got to come back inside, like we need to do our entrance. Like this is the time where you can actually really take your time and you can pull your couple away from the venue, and they've had a few drinks and they like to have this moment to sort of realize, like, oh, after everything that's gone on all day, they finally get a little bit of a moment, like 5-10 minutes to sort of have a chat. And while I'm setting it up, I say to them, have a chat, guys, just take it in for a little bit, because sometimes brides and grooms, they need to have a break. Like it's overwhelming. So the night shot shouldn't be a stressful moment. It should be, you can sort of take a step back, play around with your settings. Like sometimes you might find that you're not getting it right. Don't stress. Like just be honest with your couple. Just be like, oh, hold on a second, I'm just trying to get better exposure. And play around as many times, because I remember when I first done this shot, I sort of was feeling bad that I had dragged my couple away from the venue, and I was like, oh, I didn't get it, but it's all good, guys, I got it, like, and sort of sent them away. And I went home and I regretted it, because I knew what I had done wrong and how I could have fixed it, but I just knew that I needed to take a little bit more time. And your couples won't get upset at you for taking time. Like they love these type of shots. These are the shots that like will separate you from the next photographer at the end of the day. So take your time, don't get stressed. If you're not getting it right, like it's not a big deal. Just try different things, try different methods, try, increasing your flash power or decreasing your flash power. It will work eventually. And so that's probably my only advice on the stressful thing.
Yeah. I guess for this type of shots, you need a flash, right? You can't do this with natural lights, obviously.
No.
And couple understand the good things takes time.
That's right. Yeah. Exactly. So, that is right.
So let's look at the next image. Is this at the same location or? Exactly
the same location.
I love the smoke.
Yeah.
How many groomsmen you have them smoking in the background?
So this is, you can see that it's exactly the same pose as I had. Like with these type of shots too, you can't be too creative. Like you can get creative, but you can't be too loose with your posing. So you need to really make sure that they're posed in the right way, where the backlight's going to come through well. So they are in the same pose. I've changed my lens, so I'm now on the 50mm. And some guy from the reception walked out and he was vaping. So he had a vape. I saw the smoke coming over, and I had the 8200 Pro on, and I had the light on it. So, the LED light that's on there. And I could see it picking up the smoke. And I was like, oh my God. I'm like, come over here. And can you blow that into the light, like from the side? And so he was just smoking it, and we just took a couple of shots, and we got something different in the same location, but it looks completely different. So,
speak of which, actually we have a Facebook user, sorry about the pronunciation, Brady J. His question is: do you use LED panels lights at the reception? If so, where and when? We all know that LED panels can be used in lots of places, but let's just say in this particular context, can this be created by LED?
It can be, but I find, because I've got an LED panel, and I find that it's not strong enough. It's not powerful enough, the light.
Yeah.
Which means I have to increase my ISO, and then sometimes the image can be a little bit noisy.
Yeah.
And for the sake of like literally putting on 8200 on the stand, which is literally the same thing, and popping my trigger on, I can get a so much more better effect and better quality image than using the LED. Like the LED,
I think that's a good point, because with flash, lots of people were afraid of using it, but the longer you play around with it, the easier it became, and it becomes second instincts. It's just like cameras.
And we're in isolation now, so like we can definitely have all the time to play around. Like I've been playing around.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've been playing around all week with my kids, doing different sort of like things that I could, creative things. And it's amazing how much you can pick up when you're like bored. Do you know what I mean? So now is the best time to learn all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Awesome. So let's like look at is this another wedding?
This is the same wedding. So
the same wedding.
Yeah. So this is like a natural light shot as well. Like this.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. It's a beautiful doorway. Like the guests are all in the background. I didn't mind that they were there. Like normally I'd be like, oh my God, they're so distracting. But it's kind of nice. It's like them taking a moment away from what's happening, all the chaos. And it's sort of, even though it's sort of mismatch, it's kind of like the reality of a wedding, really. Like the bride and groom taking a moment to sort of take it in. And then you've got all the guests in the background and you can't really.
It has this Australian quirkiness. I know. I love it. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So,
let's compare this image with the next one.
Okay, exactly the same setup, and this is just literally after the shot that I did with the smoke and stuff. So I was just going around doing my usual night shots. Same sort of setup as that last natural one I showed you. Again, flashes behind them, and then you can also see that like above them there's that quarter sign.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's sort of giving, again, there's like ambient lighting there, so it's sort of giving that effect that, you know, the lighting is coming from above rather than just random lighting coming from nowhere. So I just sort of thought I'd show in two versions of, you know, the same location but using flash and then using natural light and how different they can look. Like I've just given my client two different styles of images, and one's, you know, the beautiful natural light and one's this beautiful sort of backlit posed image. So they've gotten the best of both worlds in this situation, and I'm sure they're going to be happy when I'm just finishing up this gallery now. So I'm sure they're going to be happy with the outcome of these images. And
to be honest, I think, you know, if I were the clients, I would have both, right? It would make a wonderful album spreads, the daytime and the nighttime, which is awesome.
Right. That's right. Exactly.
Yeah. So our Facebook user actually had a question. Banu, he's asking, do you ever use TTL? Like maybe let's just say, do you ever use TTL at the reception?
Yeah, when I'm doing like my party shots, because it's obviously much easier than using manual. But I don't usually use TTL when I'm shooting these type of shots. I like to have that full control.
Okay. So when would you use TTL?
When I'm doing all the party shots.
Okay.
So just
like V1 on camera dancing.
V1 on camera, like all the easy shots that like I'm sort of going around with my wide angle, just like above, just bang, bang, bang. And I don't.
We all do that.
Because it's more about, those sort of shots for me is more about capturing moments than worrying about the technical aspect, because they happen so quickly on the dance floor. Like you see someone do some funny, crazy move and I'm like crazy. I'm like looking out for those fun shots and I'm like straight there, bang. And I don't want to have to worry about, you know, like my flash settings. I just want to put it on the right, like,
and capture the moment. It's probably a split second.
Exactly.
So,
that's right. So that's the only time I would really use it. I don't use flash when I'm doing ceremonies unless I really have to use flash. And if I did, I'd be using TTL as well. But I don't tend to use flash a lot during ceremonies.
Cool. Banu, I hope you are happy. So that actually, I hope that actually answer your question. Let's look at the next image.
Yeah, so this couple, like I did their wedding, I think 3 weeks ago.
Yep.
Maybe 4 weeks ago. And this is a natural light shot as well. So we finished up their bridal, the couple's portraits.
Yep.
And they had spent, I don't know, ridiculous amount of money doing this beautiful room up. I've been to this venue numerous amount of times and I've never seen it look this amazing. And I was just like, before your guests get in the room, let's jump in there and get a quick shot of you, like your bridal party looking like boss. I love this shot. I put like, it's the Vanity Fair. It's such a common shot to do now. Like it's all the rage. All the couples are coming in and like, I want that shot. Like I want that as my Facebook profile picture. It's so cool. Like, so I got into the room and I was like, I'm going to use my 50mm lens because I wanted to get that like shallow depth of field. I was shooting at 2.0. I wanted to blur out as much of like the distractions in the background and concentrate on them and what was above. And because we had all the beautiful windows around there, I thought there's a lot of natural light coming in. I don't really need to use flash. But then I took the photo and I was like, it looks a bit soft and boring and flat. That's how it looked to me. And
so which leads to the next image?
The next image. Go for it.
Okay. Oh, this is cool. Yeah.
So I changed my focal length too. Like I was like, this shot needs to be wide angle. Like that 16mm like focal length for me is that pinnacle of like, wow, boss, you know. I love that lens. And I thought I should put a flash behind them because then it looks like it's coming from the chandeliers above again. And then it's going to create that mood and it's going to give more of an impact in the image when I take the image, like the photo. And I saw the shadows come, like all the light coming from the bottom there. And when I went back into post to edit this, I obviously darken as much as I can in the background because I didn't want to have like a lot of distractions in the background, although you can still see it, but it sort of makes sense. They're in a room, but the light just gives it that really cool mood to it, and that just changes it. Like going from the natural light to this, like how much does lighting just change the mood of an image? Really, like
I you know what? When I look at the two images, I think I just admire how much you have look at your image, optimize, analyze, and optimize from there. Look at the couples smile, right? Because the first one, they're actually smiling. It's because it's a natural vivid moments, right? It's supposed to be light and airy. Then you know where you are going, so that's why you get to hold their face. They have this attitude, right? Like those Godfather or sort of gangster look, and all of a sudden you have a back leads and everything's in perfect details. I love the fact that actually the chandelier is actually it's not overexposed. Lots of people do black backflash, they actually overexpose their background as well. How did you manage to do that?
I would have to see the raw, but I honestly don't think the chandelier.
Is there a specific distance between the flash and the subject?
So I think it's about it. So the flash is definitely before the chandeliers, but they're
that's why.
Yes. So and then they're about
Smart.
2 meters in front of the flash, but because you've got a wide angle lens, the lens choice when you're actually thinking about an image is one of the most important things. And I reckon people don't like really understand how important lens choice is in an image. Like sometimes, you might think, I'm just going to be lazy and I'll just keep shooting 50mm because it's like a great lens and it's, I can shoot 2.0 or 1.4, but like lens choice in an image can make an image. It can make or break an image really. And these type of images, these really wow factor images that you want to see like in your album spread, as a full page spread, they are, it's so important, lens choice. And then lighting choice is just as important. So like when you're, like I said before, when you're creating an image and you think, don't feel stressed if you don't have it the first time. Like because I could have walked away from that one shot and thought, yeah, that looks good. All right, you guys go back and into the bridal room and I'll photograph all the details in the reception. Like it's a beautiful image. But when I saw it, I knew that it didn't have that wow factor that I wanted. So I was like, okay, guys, bear with me. I'm going to quickly set up this. I had no assistant on the day. I just quickly grabbed the stand, popped it behind them and changed my lens because I knew I wanted that really wow image and said to them, guys, I want you to look at me like what I say to them, I say, I want you to smile with your eyes. Smile with your eyes. And that sort of gives you that like sexy look, where you're trying to smile with your eyes. I mean, you can see the bridesmaid was struggling down there trying to do that and she was laughing. But Yeah, so it's really important to make sure that when you're doing an image that all the elements make sense. It's not just like, I'm just going to get this image just because. Like, it has to make sense. Lighting choice, lens choice, like, it's all very important.
The gestures, expressions. I mean, you've done great.
Expressions, yeah.
Yeah. Should we look at the next image?
Yeah, go for it.
So this is before the flash.
Yes.
Right? And that's after.
Yeah, it's just bad.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that I admire the fact that you are showing people that without flash, you know, what it would look like. So people know, how the flash works.
Yeah.
Right. How much ambient light we would get and how much, how much we would get out of the flash. I think it's a beautiful image. I love the color and toning. I love the fact all the dress is in detail, and you can see the blue in her suits in her jacket, and you can even from distance away you can see the expressions with each other, and all the all the surrounding guests is gently kissed. Yet the couple is the brightest spot in the image, and all the focus is on the couple. I mean, this is perfectly done. I think this is perfect time for answer one of our Facebook users' question. It's Jessica Ethenme. Her question is: what do you expose for when shooting the backlit night shot? How do you expose for it?
Well, I guess if you went to the previous image, you could probably see that the exposures for the chandelier there. So it's the ambient lighting around me that I'm exposing for. And whatever, like, you can see that chandelier is not overexposed. It's like perfectly exposed. And then you go and add in your light, and then you can see that the chandelier is still in that like, it's still beautifully exposed.
That's why.
Yeah, so I'm always looking for like the ambient light, because I want to match the ambient lighting around there. Like I said before in previous images, that whatever lighting I've got around me, I want it to look like it's coming from there. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. Like, lighting, when you're lighting a subject, it has to make sense. It can't. I mean, sure, without the chandelier, the image would still look nice, but now it just gives that feel that it's coming from the chandelier above, and it looks like romantic and
beautiful. Yeah.
And dreamy.
Speak of the lighting, and Mickey Jones has a question. He asked, how far back from your subjects do you have your flash when you do the backlit shoots from the night at the nighttime?
Yeah. So when I first started doing these shots, I had it so close to them, and I thought that that's where it had to be. I was like, what is going on? Why aren't I getting like beautiful, like nice lighting around my couple? And it was so close, like literally it could almost be touching them. And then I started going, okay, I think I need to start moving it back. And like, the further back I was getting, the more I was lighting up.
Light spread.
Exactly. So in these situations, I probably try, and if I've got the space, like sometimes we don't always have the space, so we have to work with what we have. In this situation, I think I had a good 2 meters, and that's generally where I sort of go, between 1 and 2 meters back. Like, I want to have that much space coming through there. So it's really important that you do push your light stand back, or if you've got an assistant, you go back, at least 1 meter. If you've got the space.
That's good. So actually, this actually answered the question actually coming to next. Hardy Hickman, if you are watching this. So you were asking that when you shoot backlit, you don't see enough light spread. What did you do wrong? I guess that would be the distance, right? What's your advice? Maybe just move that.
Can I give some advice about these type of shots as well?
Yep.
Like,
go ahead.
Most of the time when you're doing these first dance shots, and this is what this looks like, right? It looks like a first dance. Most of the time, if you're actually doing a first dance, it might not work. It's very hard to do these shots. Like, you could sit there and be like, oh my God, I haven't got it. And you're trying to run around and get that shot. And you don't have much time. Sometimes people do first dance for 1 minute and then they're like, okay, everyone on the dance floor now.
Yep.
So, and then you're like, oh my God, I've just been playing around trying to get creative for the last minute that I didn't even get the shot. So what I do now is just before they're going to do the first dance, I go to them, can you just jump in the middle there and stay there for 2 seconds? And I sort of correspond with the DJ and like tell them, I want to do this quick shot. So don't start the music. And I set it up so that it still looks like the first dance because you've got all the people like
watching
and you've got them in the first dance pose, but you're getting that beautiful shot that you need because they're standing still, they're not moving.
Yep.
And then as soon as they go into the dance, I grab my other camera with the V1 on top and I get my safe shots, which I like, we all need to make sure we get those safe shots. This is like, my bride actually printed this photo for her wall. Like this is, you know, in a 20 by 30 on her wall. So like, this is a beautiful shot. But like, if I didn't set that up, I probably wouldn't have had the same look.
I think that's golden nuggets here, right? Because it's the tips. It's rather than the lighting. It's the way you communicate with your clients or even the other vendors, right? To tell DJ, just give you two decent 2 minutes. Or if you're the first timer, give you 2 decent 5 minutes to get it done. And the couple would love it and you get rewarded. How large was the campus?
Yeah. Sorry, what did you say?
How large was the...
20 by 30.
Oh so, my, that's huge canvas. So...
So, so if you just get your couple to do it quickly before their first dance, like it's still sort of just before their first dance. So it's still, if you're not faking it, but you're actually able to have a little bit more control because I feel like those first dance ones, when they're actually dancing, they move so quickly and the flash could sort of, you end up getting these starbursts of light and it's very difficult. Like sometimes I do them and I think, oh my God, I just got the best shot. But that was totally a fluke. Like it was a fluke. And sometimes I don't get it and it's like annoying. So now I've just sort of learnt to set it up very quickly and then go back to using the V1. But in this situation, I think I was going back and forth from the V1 because I think in the next image you can see, that was their actual first dance.
Yep. That's beautiful.
And like you can tell, like they've moved. You can see all the bridal members in the background with their flashes on. And look, even that, having those in the background, that gives the look that the flash is coming, the lighting is coming from those cameras in the background. And it makes sense. So
it makes sense.
And even their faces are so well lit in this image. And I'm pretty certain that the flash is sort of bounced off her white dress and gone into her face.
Yeah, I was wondering because when lots of people are shooting this kind of image, they got a silhouette. Does it make sense?
Yeah. That's right.
Your image, they have this beautiful. She has this beautiful short light. What's the secret?
Yeah. And such a nice moment too with her, and then like laughing, like it was just perfect timing. But like I said, these images sometimes they don't happen every weekend. This is like, you know, the right timing, the right ambient lighting, the right venue, the right couple.
Yeah.
So don't be disappointed if you're not getting images like this because I don't get images like this every week either.
Just keep on trying. All
trial and error. Like we all just keep trying, keep practicing, and don't be afraid of using flashes because, like, look at this. Look how different that is compared to the last image that you just showed, like that non-flash shot.
Yeah,
that's not even professional work. Like,
yeah, I'm just glad like you are going this far and showing us the images which is undone so the people would know the facts with a flash, right? It's one flash, right?
Yeah, one flash.
Yeah, with one flash, how much could be done? The couple is in perfect light. She has this beautiful smile on her face. It's short lights rather than silhouettes.
Yeah.
And I guess it's because the light is bouncing off her dress. The bridesmaids is actually have certain light as well. It's properly lit. It's just beautiful. Everything's in details, and the couple is the brightest spots in the image.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is perfect. So that's the last image Ashley is sharing us for today. And I hope that actually it's helpful with, especially with all those names I just mentioned in our chat. So if you guys have further question for Godox or for Ashley, leave your comments below on our YouTube or Facebook channels. If we can't address them this time, we will probably address them in the future. And at the end, I want to thank Ashley for your time. And do you want to tell us if we want to follow more of your work, how would we be able to follow you? And
yeah, well, I have Instagram. That's where I post all my work. And my Instagram is just at Ashley K Wedding Photographer.
Okay.
And
I will put the Instagram logo right below so people wouldn't miss you.
Yeah. And, also, I have Facebook as well, which I just use my personal name, which is Ashley Karakatsanis. Feel free to add me as a friend. That's where I post all my work and all
She's my friend first.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
I'm always your best friend first.
Yeah. All right. Ashley, thank you for your time. And I will see you guys until next time. Bye.
Bye.